So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you the very first panel, moderated by my very good friend here, Muriki from Japan, and Miosin. So please come forward to moderate our panel today. And I would like to invite our panelists to the stage. Please sit right under your profile picture here. So Moss from Akindo, we have Sang-Hyun from CoinEasy, Harry from HackQuest, Olivia again from TDT, and Bora from Interchain Labs and Nonce community in Korea. So guys, please come forward and make this sharing, valuable to everyone, because I do know that you have a lot to share about your community and your country as well. So yeah, over to Marky to moderate this panel.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Nicole. I think everyone's here, so share. Okay, shall we use another microphone? That. Great. Okay, so yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, morning. Morning. I was kind of really worried about, we're waking up such an early time, Yeah, usually I wake up really late, so I just made a little bit alarm, this morning, but I finally succeeded, to come. So. Yeah, so this as per this session, we're talking about each region, go to market, or it's a specific, point, pros and cons for each go to market of each region. Yeah. But before proceeding with the actually the topics, so everyone can you introduce yourself? So maybe starting from modes, and then go into each one.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Boss from Akindo. Akindo is a platform for doing the hackathon and grant distribution. So we're focusing on the accelerating project, with a longer term of the contribution from a project to doing a hackathon and that. Yeah, and it's a much more the efficient way to compared to the traditional hackathon that we provide. So yeah, but basically that's what we do, and then maybe return.
Thank you all.
Hello everyone, my name is Jaden from CoinEasy. CoinEasy is Web3 education social platform in South Korea. So we have been onboarding Web2 users to Web3, including retail users and developers.
Yes, thank you.
My name is Harry from HackQuest. HackQuest is building the largest developer ecosystem in Web3. Started first as a founders community and back in 21, and now we do 4 things: education, community events, hackathon, and founders programs. We work with 25 plus leading chains, including Solana, Arbitrum, BNB Chain, Monad, Eclipse, and so forth, as their developer onboarding partner, many just us. If you're a developer, you probably have seen us in docs or have seen some of the academy sites. We've run 121 IRO events globally last year alone. We raised about 4 million capital for one so far. So very excited to chat about onboarding developers to Web3 with these folks. Personally, I lived the last 15 years in the US and was born in China before coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Ollie. I'm from TTT Labs. As I said before, we're the biggest community validator in Vietnam, and we validate 22 different blockchains, including Celestia, Injective, Verachain, Story, Cosmos, and many more. And we also offer marketing services for Web3 companies from abroad who want to come into the Vietnamese crypto market but don't know how. They don't speak the language, they don't know the culture, so we help them with that. I'm not Vietnamese, but I've been living in Vietnam for the last 3 years and have a decent understanding of the crypto market there. And I'm very lucky to be here.
Thank you, Olivia. So, maybe right. Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Bora from ETHDenver Labs and Nonce. How I got into crypto was through Nonce community. Nonce is the crypto hub in Korea. We just live together, we work together, and just we aped it together. So that's how I got into crypto. And now I work for Interchain Labs, which is the Cosmos hub that TTT is also validating. yeah, the Cosmos Hub. So if you want to build your sovereign blockchain, you can use the Cosmos steps. Nice to meet you.
So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And last, I'm Moriki, and I'm leading Japanese, go-to-market as a Myosine. Myosine is the marketing agency now, and members are based in all over the world, and most members based in US, Korea, Japan, or London. But yeah, we are assisting a lot of go-to-market in each region, At the same time, running a incubation company in Japan, so assisting a lot of go-to-market, in Japan and building project, on EVM chains, yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. So yeah, so let me proceed with the session. Yeah, I mean, everyone's made assist in go-to-market or mass adoption, each region, especially layer 1, layer 2, or DeFi core protocols. Yeah. So I'm kind of really curious, how the crypto is used in each region. So when it comes to Japan, everyone really love game and IP. So maybe those kind of people are really curious about some crypto / gaming on IP. Or maybe a lot of people are really curious about DeFi, into DeFi, taking DeFi. So people using that way. But in each region, how do people really use crypto or not really using, or just building, So curious about the specific points, in each countries and crypto related stuff. So maybe starting from Korea, so yeah.
Yeah. In Korea, there are a lot of small business accepting Bitcoin Lightning Network payment. So that's really interesting. And also there is a messenger app Line from Korea, and they currently using Kaya, their EVM layer 1 chain, as an infrastructure. So they're providing mini tab online. So as a retail user, it's really easy to access. So it's really interesting how they optimize this technology into their ecosystem.
Yeah, to add on to Jaden, as you all know, Korea is very popular for all the DJs. That's right. Yeah, kimchi. Yeah. But I also want to add on to what Jaden has told us. And Korea, the big gaming companies in Korea, they also are really interested in blockchains. As far as I know, they are collaborate with Solana, Sui, for example, to build their own gaming chains. Also Summon Cosmos. So yeah, just besides the retail, I also wanted to kind of highlight that there are also big institutions that are also interested in blockchains.
Sure, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, everyone knows kimchi pan, right? Those kind of pumping. But other than that, maybe. Yeah, a lot of people are really, a lot of huge companies are really into gaming goals, say, or Solana. That's pretty interesting point. Yeah. So moving on to maybe Hari, or yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit from, I guess, China perspective and then US a little bit. For China, I think still DeFi. We just hosted a private Solana ecosystem dinner with the foundation, and in Hong Kong, we had 7 events there in consensus. So I think we had a good pulse of the market. I think overall, there are 4 categories I think it's been really, really bullish in this cycle. One is RWA. I think there's been a trend. We've been hearing this from all the new L1, L2s. A lot of the large foundations that are, they will bring assets over, right? And just find teams and to help you be successful. So RWA, in particular, we see there's an interest in tokenizing student loans. That's obviously a 7 trillion education market. There's 7 trillion education market. There's 2 trillion just from student loans alone. And in the US it constitutes half of that. So there's a huge market there. 2 is DeFi in general. We've seen on and off ramps being a huge part. Even Mexico, there's a few really cool projects that are doing that, and local policy really support. And there's a company called Infinity, probably it's been trending. Shout out to them. They lost 50 million, but the founders used this own money to fill that gap. It's really easy to use. In fact, you can pretty much anywhere, and then you can pay with as a neobank in stablecoins, and You actually earn credits. There's a lot of good credit cards. For that, MetaMask card recently launched. In Dubai, in India, there's a really popular one called Cask that was supported by Super Team. So a lot of the Super Team members will use that for on-and-rev crypto. So for example, get paid in crypto but convert to rupees because obviously India had the policy change to ban exchange access. Third is probably still, I think, DeFi farming in general. There's a lot of high yield options that was made. And fourth, I think infrastructure, there's still a sentiment of having more chains and more interest. Gaming, I see the success for Sonic SVM as one of our past fellow as well, Chris, and they have a dedicated chain for gaming. In the US, there's a new chain called Happy Chain, and that's dedicated to gaming as well. And in the past, we see like in the StarkNet ecosystem, we're very bullish on gaming. So I think overall, those are the sectors. I think by the end of the day, DeFi, RWA, those are still, to me, it's still more of the trend, especially payments in stablecoins.
Sure, like are there any like general use, for a stablecoin in the US or like North America, yeah?
Yeah, so like most of the exchanges, right, like I think have credit cards, right, and debit cards, prepaid cards, right, like Crypto.com have the prepaid card, like Bybit and even Coinbase, right, have a debit card that you can use. You can earn a lot of on-chain crypto credits. A lot of our employees, in fact, get all paid in crypto, and they use the card to on and off ramp. Many use. There's a lot of very cool global payment, cross-border payments solutions that we see in the US get used a lot as well. There's a Singapore company called Request Network. Used to be called Request Finance. Do invoicing. That's also a really big one. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, thank you so much. That's really helpful information. Yeah, some countries, such as Japan, Korea, it's still being bound, for general use. Yeah, like for like a credit card or debit card. So that's really like insight, helpful insight. Yeah. So maybe we'll be on to modes. Yeah. I talking about like only IP and gaming in Japan, but maybe other part, like Japan market has other like specific points or like pros and cons.
The current situation in Japan is really changing. For example, like 2022, back then, like it wasn't really like, there's some people use it, like crypto, and we already have the exchange, but we didn't have the backup from government. But from 2023, government actually decided that to choose the crypto market or Web3 as a national strategic industry. So this is why like it became really easier to do business with crypto. So, and we have an exchange, but to have exchange in Japan is quite strict. So it's not really easy, but at the same time, sometimes it helped some problem. You guys probably know that you remember FTX crabs. Yeah, right. And a lot of people couldn't get back the money from that, but actually, in Japanese exchange, that we were able to get back because it's very strict. So yeah, so there's a rule which sometimes is more strict, but in a sense sometimes they help people. Yeah, and speaking of that Moriki said IP and also game. Yeah, it's we have traditional company like Sony or Sega. They do they're the Web2 game. But actually they were started on board in the market. Sony, maybe you've heard it. They started building their own chain. So yeah, this is why I would say the current Japanese situation is really changing, and also you've seen a lot of build-up, for example last time when I went to the Singapore or DevCon, and there was East Global as well, and actually people from Japan also got the award, basically they got prizes. So I would say it's still a lot to grow, but there's a lot of opportunity for in Japan.
Yeah, thank you so much. Especially Sony chain, Sony have a lot of potential, and actually currently transaction is pretty well, I guess. Not really sure, it's a real transaction goal. But anyway, everything really working well. So yeah, thank you so much, both. So last one, Olivia. So maybe especially about Vietnamese market, a lot of retail users there, all the builders there, but I want to know what details. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. First, I think it's important to stress how fast crypto adoption is growing in Vietnam. For the last 5 years, we've been ranked in the top 5 of the Global Crypto Adoption Index. In 2021, we were first place. In 2022, we were first place. 2023, bumped down to third place. In 2024, we're fifth place, and we're still holding that fifth place of the total countries. Yeah, pretty bullish. Yeah. Why is it declining? Good question. I don't know, man. Where we're at in the cycle, I don't know. In Vietnam in particular, there's a big trader community. The Vietnamese are quite risk averse, so we have a lot of trading on centralized exchanges, futures as well, and perpetuals. So I think that's probably the biggest, like, retail users trading and speculating. Recently, however, we've seen more interest in DeFi applications. I think part of the reason is like the inflation of the Vietnamese dong. Many Vietnamese want to hold US dollars, and then from that, those who want to earn a yield on it, where do they do it? DeFi is the perfect answer for them to earn yield on their US dollars. So I think that's something we're seeing more of. And then as for the third is probably cross-border payments. There's right now more than 2 million Vietnamese living in the US, and those that send money back home some, I'll say, choose to send it via crypto because it's cheaper, it's faster, and it's, more decentralized than bank transfer. In Vietnam, we also have a pretty die-hard developer community as well. Some really interesting applications from Vietnamese teams like Axie Infinity, Sky Mavis, they're Vietnamese. Jupiter as well, Vietnamese team, and Kyber Network are also Vietnamese. So we're really trying to focus this year on supporting and encouraging young developers to start building applications. And we've been in collaboration with Celestia, Wormhole to sort of organize hackathons and in real events to sort of get a lot of these young guys who have just they're in college or they've graduated college and they want to start working in crypto and building applications. So we're really excited about supporting them and sort of growing the developer community as well in Vietnam. Yeah.
Sure. When I been to Vietnam, always but developer community is really huge. I mean they are interested in the building.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll just add one more sort of bullish statistic, which is I think. A study from Chainalysis in 2023 revealed that around roughly 20% of Vietnamese either hold cryptocurrency or are indirectly exposed to cryptocurrency. And we forecast this number will probably grow, but it is really, really growing exponentially fast.
Yeah, 100% agree. So thank you so much, Olivier. So next point is, I think half of the people are coming from the project side, not the from agent side or go-to-market side. So I mean, go-to-market in each region has some difficult point, or we can success with some, I say, the really good way, but if you don't really follow the rule or process, maybe it's kind of difficult, to have a successful go-to-market. So maybe starting from Olivia, so how can we achieve successful, the goal for the go-to-market in benefits market, yeah. So do you have maybe starting from retail side or starting from developer side or starting from speculation or starting from vision, maybe there are a little bit, for having a successful go-to-market in each region, But do you have any point, we have to follow or yeah?
Yeah, a really good question and sort of one that we're all trying to figure out. What's the best sort of strategy to, get people into crypto? As I said before, the Vietnamese are quite risk averse, and I think there's a big appetite for trading and speculation. And I think that's the same for probably most countries in the world. It's, we all come into crypto with the hope of, making money. And then we end up staying because we learn more about the space and DeFi and all the other sort of applications for blockchain and crypto. So I think, I think the best strategy, one strategy is to get the foot in the door is to incentivize them or you know, probably what they'll be attracted to is you know, trading and, you know, maybe the hope of making some money in crypto, and then they'll migrate, they'll learn a bit more about the space, about DeFi, and then that's sort of the longer term vision is that they, you know, they stay for
Sure.
the applications and yeah.
So like, if you want to like do a successful go-to-market, do we have to, you know, translate in local language or listen in local exchange or something? Is it needed in Vietnamese market? Why is it not really like important for?
Good question. I don't know if it's so important. I mean, a lot of Vietnamese speak English. They're taught it in schools from a young age. So, like by the time they're 18, 19 and they discover crypto, they understand like the resources of how to learn. But I mean, what we do at TTT, like in terms of community building for some of the big layer ones in the space and applications is like we like on the marketing side, we take their material and then we localize it, we translate it, and then we just to make it easier for the audience. So I don't know if it's so important, but it's definitely part of it. Yeah,
For sure. So exchange or like not really or?
there are a couple for exchanges. I mean, I don't think it's so important. A lot of Vietnamese use Binance, and most of them, and DeFi as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
So maybe moving on to the Korean side. So I mean, yeah, like a lot of projects also like, you know, aiming for the go-to-market in Korean market, you know, yeah. So I'd like to know, like, yeah, the same point, yeah.
Yeah, obviously the marketing is really important, like sharing the token and etc. Like, and speculation and stuff. But we, as a CoinEasy, we try to change the culture. It's more like education approach. They really understand the protocol and actually learn about how to use the decentralized application on those chains. So whenever we are helping projects, for example, 1inch, one of our clients, we try to approach more education way, how to actually use their swap as a retail, and for the builders, how to use their API and connecting with other projects in who want to build on 1inch in Korea. So we kind of try to change the culture. Like that's why we focus on education, and then we will see people really understand the project, and actually they can hold their asset instead of when it's dropped, they were like, not then they're looking for like, oh, what's going on? I want to learn more, and you become a community members when token price drop. So I think we are encouraging users to know what you're getting, understand before you buy the token. So yeah, we are changing the culture at the moment.
Yeah, to add on Jaden's points, I think like letting the people learn from the educational perspective is very important. Also, what Olivia like mentioned, I just wanted to emphasize, like in case of Koreans especially, I think for them like English itself is very hard to learn. You know, like DeFi already is difficult, but then like you have English, right? So it's also like a big barrier for Asians to kind of start learning. And also like, you know, you gotta be active on Twitter, you gotta like be on Discord, but everyone's like doing this AMAs in English and they don't understand and they feel like less confident. So I think localization is a very important point in terms of like in terms of GTM strategies in each market. And I just also wanted to point out I think in each country there are some like the specialties are different. For example, like in terms of Korea, like I don't really see a lot of like I don't see like a lot of founders because a lot of people are like kind of risk averse. But if they kind of contribute to a project, they're really, really talented developers. Or like maybe in Vietnam, maybe like the retail market, as you mentioned, is very strong, right? But like when I was in Thailand, like my friend who was working for like Contribution now, he was telling me that Thai people are also really good developers, but they don't want to like found their own projects. So I think each countries, even though it's like people can think that Asia is kind of one, but each country have different characteristics. So the GTM strategy should be different, like considering the audience.
Yeah, thank you so much. So can I add, I'd like to add a question maybe to each region as well about like, do you think is it important to, how to say, generate, local front end, local application, from local people? Yeah, if you allow the layer one layer two, a core DeFi application, yeah, like a DApp or, like those kind of stuff can be the front end, for each region. But I think, is it important to generate like a local application, or it's not really like matter, in relation in the world? Maybe Olivia or like, you both the Korean side, and then like maybe to other regions as well, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Honestly, I don't think it's so important. I think that once they understand the use of some of these DeFi apps, they will naturally migrate to it. Yeah, and they'll sort of learn how to use it. In terms of layer one blockchains, like, I mean, we have one big one in Vietnam, Cartier Chain, that is like a Vietnamese team, and it's marketed to Vietnamese people, and that's seen some adoption. Not as much as, I think Vietnamese are using other chains like Solana and BNB and etc. But I think that if the application can provide value, then regardless of race or language, they will find a way to learn and use it.
Sure, yeah, thank you so much. So is this same in Korea, like something different, like?
I think just personally is simple, because that's why we are building our mobile application using Web3 stack, and listed on Google Play and App Store, so users and builders and founders can see like a good example. So we want to show that the Web3 products working, like Web2 projects, Web2 apps. So that's one of the reasons why we are building and show to the Web3 community in Korea that actually you can build something cool. So we want to be a good example in Web3 community in Korea.
Sure, yeah. Thank you so much. So last one is kind of Japanese and maybe also the US and yeah. Thank you.
In my opinion, actually, it depends on the target. For example, if you want to reach out like globally, you start from English, right? So you don't need actually to localize. But for example, in case of Japan, like we have really big barrier of the language. So if you want to do the GTM in Japan, you actually need in a lot of cases, like you have to localize, basically language. So yeah, I would say like, when you compare the amount of people, like a number of people, like if it's Japan or like world, it's really small, right? Although like Japan has as a market, it's really huge. We still have the third party in the world, the GDP, like economically. So if you want to get in, tap into the market, like we actually also like as a Kindle, we have like GTM, and so I would say it's a kind of like a localized application would be good option to do that. Like if you really want to tap into Japanese market, but then for the first stage of the like application of the apps, at the moment, like I don't think that we got mass adoption of worldwide. So this is why usually it would be good to start just English, but I would say in Japan especially we have that language barrier. So I would say better to localize.
Sure, thank you. So last is kind of Harry. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I think it's not really like a pick and choose, to be frank, anymore. All the ecosystems now have their local chapters. From our experience working with 25 plus chains, they are now figuring out their own playbook and do localization. So yesterday, we were talking to Kylian and Eunice, and I think the Monet team have figured out the localization strategy, right? So I think every single instructions level, from education to a hackathon to different madnesses that are hyper-localized to accelerators that are for specific different regions, is hyper-localized. Our strategy has always been, if we want to break into a region, we need to have full-time developer/founder of local community to hire. We have a 45 people team. Our biggest users come from India, Greater China, US, and Singapore, Japan, Indonesia. But the markets we have full-time employees in are all the emerging markets. We don't really do anything until we have at least what we call 10 community partners locally onboarded, and have, let's say, local government support, or have at least a couple of local chain support, and at least one full-time employee. We don't do any of the other things unless we achieve those things. In return, for some regions, let's say Latam that we tap into, we work with Nurex, for example, who is very big in Latam. And part of the reason is because 95% Brazilians don't speak English. They speak Portuguese, especially developers, right? Korea, Japan, I think there's a lot of English folks, speaking folks, but some of the best developers, they're not like fluent per se in English. So if you have to do, let's say, invite the CTO for AMA talk, it's going to be very difficult to show their full extent. We see that in China, Greater China, as well. Like at every conference, you will see a few Mandarin-only events, right, that are alpha packed. Like there's tea from every single sessions, but they don't know how to talk. They don't know how to speak that in English. Again, I only talk from a developer standpoint because that's our specialty. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in retail, so I don't speak on the the retail side. But from a developer perspective, hyper localization is a must. It's not even at this point like an example. I think Vietnam for DFI, for APAC DAO, for a lot of the local partners, they can help you break into the developer market. So if we talk about a playbook, at least from our perspective, has always been number one, identify local partners to help you dig into the space, sponsor some events, find some contacts, build trust, build relationships, start early, and gradually hire your own people, expand the team. We saw the Monad APAC team a year ago was one person, right? So with Samo and they're on with Jing, and now they have 15 people in APAC alone, right? So I think if a company really shows conviction into the opportunity in the market, especially for developer and founder, they will double it. And you need on-the-ground people who speak their language and can be that bridge that build trust. You have events every month. We call this high-frequency, low-touch-point strategy, where Solana first started, right, with Super Team. You can always find ecosystem call to be held with pizzas in any cities in India, in Nigeria, Turkey, pretty much all the developer-focused countries. So yeah, to us, I think localization is key.
Sure, yeah. Thank you so much, for explaining about like not only the US, more like general and global go-to-market. It's super helpful. So I think so thank you so much everyone. Time is up. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for also like.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it. So yeah, if you have any question to go-to-market, about each region, just talk to them. So thank you so much everyone. Yeah, and I'm going to record. Thank you.
Guys. Thank you for the panel. And guys, as usual, so if you want to see some of these guys later, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam, of course.